And welcome back. Immediately following our Democratic primary debate this evening, our studio transformed into our spin room, a space for the dozens of reporters across the state and national media to address each candidate. News 8's Katani Gooch was among those reporters and spoke with each candidate to see how they think the night went.
Thank you. As the spin room door opened immediately after the debate, a flood of reporters and photographers swarmed tonight's two candidates, Dr. Abdul El Sayed and Congresswoman Haley Stevens.
I want to give you 30 seconds, and I want to give you 30 seconds.
Tonight's debate covered a wide range of topics from affordability to data centers and AI. Certain moments were tense, riddled with accusations of a lack of transparency.
Let's also talk about DT, $37,500. $37,500 for a regulated monopoly that never seems to be regulated. And my question is just, what were the conversations there?
He said, all right, Abdul said he would be transparent. He won't release his tax returns.
And rebuttals.
I took the same extension that she's taken every single year that she's been in Congress, the same exact extension. I didn't hear her complaining about herself taking that extension in the past. So look, I'm happy to release them. We will be releasing them soon.
Why is he giving a message saying that he wants to take money out of politics and put money into people's pocketbooks, but we don't get the transparency in a marquee Senate race of who's putting money in his pockets?
He said he filed the same extension that you did, though.
I have filed my tax returns. I did not file a tax extension. But I am running for a marquee Senate race. All right, and I'm not running a campaign saying, you know, these libels that he is. In that packed studio, I spoke with Dr. El Sayed after the debate to ask about some of those personal attacks.
I understand why that would be the line of attack. I don't find it somewhat disingenuous because you're like, so what can we point to that is legislation that has changed? If you're still running on the stuff that you did before you went to Congress, and you've been in Congress for 8 years, the question for me is, why do you think that people should give you a promotion?
And on the opposite side of the room, in a conversation with Congresswoman Stevens, she spoke about desired unity among political parties.
We gotta stop this internal fighting and clipping at each other when Trump wins and then screws us.
And yet defended the attacks she lodged at her opponent throughout the night.
I think that my opponent has issued thousands of countless attacks and negative things about me repeatedly on this campaign. I also wanted to give him the treatment that he has been giving me.
In Grand Rapids, Katani Gooch, News 8.
All right, so it's a primary. It's attracting a lot of attention. We know that. Rick Albin, some of the comments that these candidates made post-debate were quite revealing as well. What did you pick up there?
Yeah, they felt a little more emboldened, I think, when you had a whole room. There was a lot of energy in here, Brian, and you were doing the WOOD TV Plus program that looked at all of that, which I thought, by the way, was a great compliment to the debate. But there were a lot of reporters in here, and I think both candidates really wanted to make sure that they were able to land a couple of more points before they walked out of the studio. So I think they did get a little more candid, not quite as scripted as they were before. But this is going to be a battle right down to the August primary. I mean, as we said earlier, voting's already started, but there are a lot of developments that are going to continue to roll out between now and that early August election. But to be sure, tonight was one of the biggest nights for both of these candidates in what will likely be the biggest audience that they'll ever have on one single night to talk to as many voters in Michigan as possible. Brian.
All right, and Thursday, the Republican candidates for governor. Busy week for us. Rick, we appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.